I told you that I'm having Wi-Fi problems. I have 4 videos that were supposed to come out yesterday, but the Wi-Fi was like, not today. Do you see the weather outside? It's raining. Because for some reason, when there is rain, the Wi-Fi also, it takes a relaxation day. So anyways, I discarded those videos because they will not be relevant today. But let's talk about some of the things that happened yesterday. I was looking at the Julius Muanazi and Kagiso Lerotla matter. And in my head, I had 2 thoughts. The first thought was, okay, either Ekurhuleni is acting as if they are doing their job now. I mean, they don't want to be seen to be bad, bad, bad. So the question is about Kagiso. This matter of him caught speeding in 2019, and only 7 years later, he actually gets to see justice. Who was keeping all of this a secret? PRECA. It's Prevention and Combating of Corrupt Activities Act 12 of 2004. Somebody Ekurhuleni was withholding this information. That person too needs to be arrested. Because why suddenly your case of amnesia, you wake up from the coma and like, hey, by the way, there's that guy called Kagiso Lerotla. He was in a car accident because he also was about to go to an interview to become the municipality's chief financial officer. Who's that person? Because that person is the one that needs to be arrested also for defeating the ends of justice. It cannot be the perpetrator and the one that loves money that said, I'll make it go away. I'm going to hire an actor to go on your behalf to court and also go serve community service. Julius Muanazi, what's up with you, bro? So then they shared this 400,000 rand allegedly given by Mr. Kagiso Lerotla. Who's that person? Because this person now is trying to paint a picture that, oh, we've been investigating in Ekurhuleni. Ekurhuleni does its job, da-da-da-da-da. And then the second thought was, if I remember correctly, in the Senzo Meyoa unaliving trial, there was I think it was Gininda, who said sometimes they would make arrests of small things. For example, with Bongani, with Moses Sibiya, he got arrested for ammunition and can't remember what was found in his room, which was planted, so that they are able to keep him in the system while they do a bigger investigation. Same thing with Bongani Ntanzi. I think the Bongani Ntanzi's one did not quite stick. Remember, in Northwest, that one did not quite stick. But they wanted to catch him on that so that they can charge him with the bigger one, which is the unaliving of Senzo Meyiwa. So what exactly, let me come closer because I feel like I'm far away. What exactly that is much bigger than the so-called speed ticket and 400,000? Because you can tell that the target here is not Kagiso. Kagiso is collateral damage. They are after Julius Muanazi. What bigger stuff is Julius Muanazi we are going to hear about that is going to left us all dry and shocked? Because that's what it's giving. And it's also giving Ekurhuleni competing with the Madlanga Commission, because at the end of the day, Ekurhuleni doesn't want to look bad, which is bad, by the way. They don't want to look bad. Like, how did you let things like this get away when they supposedly have been a government? Yeah, we're talking about council house or city council. So what is this big thing? Because again, my mind keeps going back to Jaco Heinekom. It's that time again at 2 a.m. What skeletons are in Julius Muanazi's closet that is going to leave us all shocked, because somebody knows somebody knows something else about somebody, and it all comes back to Julius Muanazi. And those people, I think they are panicking. And so since they are panicking, they are making deals. They are sitting with their lawyers. Probably as you're watching this video, they've had a night visual with their lawyers trying to put together bargaining chips. How do I stay out of prison for, let's say, maybe the crime has a sentence of 15 years. How can I serve at least half of it or not at all? And so now they are releasing all these things. Do you get the same feeling? Are you getting this? Because I'm getting that feeling. And then also the South African Police Service. I think the South African Police Service itself wants to clean its image by making sure that these people are arrested. So you will find, I don't know who in Ekurhuleni called the South African Police Service and say, hey, by the way, in 2019, the current city manager, he was involved in some kind of an accident. He was arrested, and then he was supposed to appear in court but did not. And then a warrant of arrest was sent on him. And then a wrong Mr. Kagiso Lerutla appeared in court, and he was hit with a slap on the wrist by going to serve a community service. I think it was supposed to be for like 100 hours or something. And that individual only came there once and went to Julius Mkhwanazi because allegedly Mr. Lerutla went to Julius Mkhwanazi and said, make it go away. And then Julius Mkhwanazi said 400,000 rand, allegedly. I'm going to split this 400,000 rand with an actor. Where is that actor? Can we get the actor as well? Because they committed a crime. Fraud. Impersonation. Are you getting that feeling? Because I'm getting that feeling. I'm getting that feeling. But the biggest feeling that I am feeling right now is that something big or some things big that are going to be thrown at us. So that is why they need to keep Julius Mkhwanazi in jail. And when it comes to, if I have to predict what's going to happen today with bail application, I think Kagiso Lerutla is going to be granted bail, but Julius Mkhwanazi is going to be denied bail. That's my prediction. And I think the reason why they might not give Julius Mkhwanazi, or maybe they didn't argue that. Did they argue that? I don't think. Have they argued? No, they haven't argued yet. They are coming to formally apply for bail. And I think the issue of his identity might come out in the arguments by the states that we cannot let this guy out. We don't know where he comes from. Because we don't know where he comes from. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Tell me what are your thoughts. And then come the SIU. SIU comes and drops a bombshell on us yesterday and tells us about, what's his name? Something goes, Bongani Nkosi. Is it Bongani Nkosi? You know, when I was growing up poor, and I think many Black people who grew up poor, and you are Zulu, you probably are aware of this word, ukepula. Do you know what ukepula? Do you remember when that word was used on us? Yagelu ukepula. You remember, right? If you don't know what that means, how do you put it in English? It's wobbling. You know, like a loaf of bread that is not sliced, a loaf of bread, and then I come, instead of taking my share, I take probably almost half of the bread. That is what you call ukepula. Because there are other kids, you have siblings who are also coming back from school, and they also need to eat from that loaf of bread. But when they get home, they are only going to get probably like 2 slices out of a loaf, because the first person that came back from school, like almost took the whole thing. And why am I saying this? I'm liking this to this Bongani Nkosi guy. 76 million rand. Are you sick in the head? And not only you get houses as big as castles in Serengeti and some other estate that I cannot pronounce, big houses and fleet of cars, almost said cows, a fleet of cars, which kind of like made me laugh for when the CFO of Tshwane, Garrett Mnisi, he's like, I don't like driving. I don't like driving. I get people to drive me. But you have a fleet of cars. How do you not like driving and yet you got a fleet of cars? You are lying. There's no, I don't like driving. And whenever I drive, I'm usually driving my sister's car. If you ever hear me say I was driving, that car is my sister. And I make sure that when I do, I go where I'm going and I'm back because I don't like driving. Therefore, I don't have a car. I have not had a car in my adult life because I don't like driving. And I think I've shared this story with you before. The very first time I got my driver's license, I was 33 years old. That's how much I am not interested in cars and driving. So the point that I'm making here, you cannot say you don't like driving and yet you have a fleet of cars, not just any fleet of cars. You've got luxury brand cars. So let's get back to Nkosi. Nkosi, ukepulile buti. Ukepulile. That's what you call ukepula. It becomes so obvious. My mom used to say, if you ever thought of being naughty, be like a rat. Bite and blow. Bite and blow. Meaning, don't ngakepuli. To a point where it's obvious. And then the other siblings come to her and say, Ma, we are hungry. And then my mom will be like, but I bought you a loaf of bread for all of y'all. Yeah, we only got a slice of it. And then who kepulile? And then that's the one that gets, it's happening. And the baddies, from what I hear, ooh, guys, people, the stories they are telling me about the baddies, I'm loving it because I warned y'all. I warned y'all. Y'all don't listen. It's not going to happen to me. You know why it's not going to happen to you? Because your brain is so locked into thinking that the people that are giving you money, they hold such powerful positions in South Africa, that South Africa is theirs. Ikubo. It's Spaza shop, South Ubo. It's their home Spaza shop. So they will get away with it. If they get away with it, you will get away with it. I don't know. So the question I'm also asking about Kagiso, where was he going to at the airport when he was caught? Did he hear that they are coming for him and then he thought of running? Because if that's the case, his bail application is jeopardized. But if he is granted bail, one of the conditions will be for him to submit his passport. Hey, guys, stop playing with your jobs, guys, please. But I thought, let me just sit here and ask you this question, because that's the whole point of this video. Are you getting a sense that Julius Muanazi, there are bigger things that are coming in his way? And Kagiso was just collateral damage so that they are able to withhold this one in jail. But then again, I'm still with the person that withheld this information for 7 years. Why? Why and what must not happen to you, ma'am or sir? Because that's defeating the ends of justice. Ekuruleni. And I'm just going to say it again. I saw Fikile Mbalula. Fikile Mbalula exonerating the ANC. But we will see, time will tell, Mr. Mbalula, about Ekuruleni, where all this rot began. Because you were singing the praises of Mzwandile, Masina. Didn't all of this start under his watch? But hey, like I said, time will tell. Because 2019, that was Mzwandile Masina. All of that happened under Mzwandile Masina's administration, with Kagiso Lerata. There we go again. Yeah, Ukagiso. I don't know, guys. We are just sitting, as Gaten McKenzie said, we must get the whole factory of popcorn ready. I mean, I'm already chewing away, and I'm drinking my coffee because it's now getting cold these days, and the rain that is acting as if it is the beginning of summer. What's up with that? Anyways, that's what I'm currently doing. Tell me what you're doing, and what are your thoughts about Julius Muanazi? What are your thoughts? And who's next? I mean, hi guys. Oh, get out to Nisi. It's over for him. It is over for him. He's going to prison. He's corrupt from where I'm standing and from what I was hearing. He's corrupt. And I think he regrets it as well, because you can tell that why didn't I ever meet this Sergeant Kosi? Why did this and why did that? Stop playing with your job. I mean, you must always remember, before you agree to something that you know is unethical, think about where you come from, number one. Number two, think about the time you spent at university, when you had to fight for registration, when you had to fight for rest, when you had to fight for tuition fees, when you had to fight for cost packs, when you had to fight for this and fight for that at university, all by yourself. Then student poverty. Student poverty. You have not experienced poverty if you have never been a student that comes from a poor family, going to bed hungry, especially if you are not in a catering rest. I'm getting trauma. I'm getting PTSD, child. I always feel bad for first year students every time. How are you doing if you're a first year student? Please share in the comments down below. Because back in my day, I could just walk to Rosebank, to a restaurant, and say, hey, is there anything that you have for me? I come from Wits University. And they'll be like, oh, okay. How do you feel about washing dishes for X amount of money? Listen, I'm poor and I'm hungry. I don't care if you're telling me it's 200 Rand for the 4 hours I'm going to be working there washing dishes. I don't care. And plus, even though some restaurants, they did not allow you to take like what's left over, and I'm not talking from people, but what's left over, yo guys, I know I'm digressing, but I have to share this. There was a time where I worked at Woolworths as a student, and we're doing stock taking. Guys, fresh. When I say fresh, I'm talking fresh fruit, vegetables, bread, cakes, that cake, like, but it's fucking a dustbin. And you're like, I'm sorry, what? Put it in the dustbin. And you are thinking, my pantry back at rest is on zero. You telling meat, I'm talking red meat. If the meat was not bought today, it's getting thrown away. That was Woolworths. That's how I respected Woolworths since I was ever, I don't know, as a young man. And we were not allowed to take that stuff. But you know us, we always come up with tricks. Because there's no way that Vor's a red meat, pork, I will put some of the stuff somewhere, somehow. You get searched when you leave in the morning, because the whole night you are stock taking, and then in the morning you are searched. Oh, when you're searched, we go to the other side where we left our things, and I know I'm going to be good for a month. I just thought, let me share that about student poverty, how painful it is. And if you are a parent that is doing well, men, and you have a child, and you heard one of your children or your child that you ran away from is at university, let me tell you something: to redeem yourself, is to go and pay for this child's groceries. At least their groceries. Anyways, guys, please enjoy the rest of your day. So Gareth Mnisi is going to come back on another day. He's not done with the Matlaga Commission. I'm not quite sure who's coming to. Is it Kareem? I think it's Kareem. Do you think Kareem is going to come? Anyways, it's going to be interesting to see how it all goes. And I will see you guys a bit later. Hopefully, the Wi-Fi is going to behave. Goodbye.